going to tie this in immediately to Sukkot. So the third verse says that this is all so that you might live long on the earth. What does Sukkot represent? The millennium, leading into Shemini Atzeret, which is the forever. So that's what live long on the earth is ultimately pointing at. Yes, it's talking about living long on the earth like your fleshly life, but also living long on the earth, the eternal life. Because, by the way, it's all happening here. So when it says live long on the earth, you might be thinking, oh, I don't live long on the earth, I want to go to heaven. Well, heaven's coming here, so good luck with that. Because it's all coming here. Read Revelation. It's all coming here. Revelation 21 tells you it's coming here. Now, there will be a new earth, a new heaven and a new earth, but the new Jerusalem's going to come down here, okay? So that you can live long on the earth. And people are like, well, I don't understand all this whole do's, don'ts, but listen, Yahweh gave us the Torah, which is nothing but what? Do's and don'ts. He didn't give you a bunch of, well, see what you feel and listen to whatever you think his voice is and whatever you're going to interpret for yourself to your own destruction, really. All right, to your own pleasure that you're seeking. Everything in the covenant is do's and don'ts. There are 365 don'ts. There's 248 do's. Wow, you notice there's more don'ts than do's. If you look at the 613. Day one of the millennium is going to be bringing authority into the world. You know what this is going to be? It's like Genesis 1, that first day, and what happened? The world was what? Tohu v'bohu. And then what happened to the chaos and the confusion? Yeshua was brought into it. It says, let there be light, and light was brought in. And we know Yeshua is the light of the world. Yeshua, the Word, the Torah, all these things were brought in to what? The mess, the confusion, the chaos. What do you think the world's going to be like on day one of the millennium? It'll be like day one at the beginning of creation. And so that light needs to come in. And we are going to be light bringers too, those in the first resurrection. He's going to expect us to be bringing that light. When you read the Ten Commandments, many of you who are above the age of child, as we would normally think that verse is something you just pass right through, or you only want your children to pay attention to it, but forget that it has relevance to you. Because after all, it's talking about children. It says, respect your mother and father. Some of you do struggle with that whole thing and then come to me because you think it means obey them no matter what they're doing. This is talking about covenanted people with covenanted people. So your uncovenanted parents who are trying to get you to do uncovenanted things, treat them with respect, but don't obey them. Now here it's talking about obedience and respect in the context of covenant to those that should be getting both. So now we're talking about obeying. I think we're talking about the same people, your parents, father and mother. They need to be obeyed and respected in this context. Obey and respect the vertical. Your personal vertical is talking about specifically those that are parenting you. And by the way, a lot of you have people parenting you that are there by who knows how they got there. You might not even know how they got there, but they're the wrong people. You're grafted in, you're adopted in. Go find the proper adopted parent and get parented by vertically aligned, covenanted parents. I'm not saying go find an older couple necessarily. I'm talking about somebody who's in leadership, who's a guiding teacher like chapter 4, the fivefold guys, the teachers, the prophets, the shepherds. And let them parent you. And by the way, parenting you doesn't mean treating you like a little child, because if you're an adult, you need guidance and instruction, and then we expect that you would then follow it, Deuteronomy 17 style. So all of you need to understand this. He is telling these people, these fathers, don't provoke them to anger, but yes, you should be giving them sharp disapproval and criticism when they need to hear that. Here's the problem. You guys can't handle it. You can't. There's a lot of people not in these seats right now because they couldn't handle that from me, or they couldn't handle it from one of the other leaders. That is scriptural, brothers and sisters. There are supposed to be people in your life who can give you admonishment and reprimand. If you don't have anybody in your life that you will take a reprimand from, you are in trouble. You are likely to do things that you shouldn't do without anybody to stop you. You need somebody who can reprimand you. You need a man in your life that you can have that has that level of authority to grab a hold of you. I have a few men in this congregation that are like that have that authority. You know what they'll do? If I say something, they'll come to me and they'll say, Rabbi, I didn't like that. I don't know what that was all about, but I need you to straighten me out because I know you're right and I can't see it. That's a man. Okay? That's a man. His first reaction wasn't, I was wrong, like meaning he was blaming somebody else. His first reaction was that he might not have been right. He could have seen it wrong. So he came to me and said, I'm mad. What you just did, it wasn't even done to him, just something he saw me do. I need you to help me. And we sat down and fixed it because he didn't have the right perspective to things he didn't know. But he was a man. He came and asked to be straightened out. He knew the problem was in him. There's a lot of you that do not respect your leadership. You're way too casual. You do not have any awe, respect, and fear properly of your leadership because it's about the mindset and the approach. I don't mean intimidated. I mean having a right, respectful awe that that person has been put there to bless you, help you, serve you. Some of you are like, but Rabbi, you scare me. That's dumb, okay? That's something going on in you. There's no reason I should be scary to anybody. I hear all the time, oh, you're so scary. You know what you're afraid of? You're afraid I'm going to tell you something that you don't want to hear that you already know you're going to hear. And a lot of people tell me when they do finally come and I do say it, they go, that's why I didn't want to see you. Because I went and told them what they knew I would. So what is it that you're doing as servants of Messiah? You're going to interact with those here in the below, knowing you're doing it to the one in the above. How you practice is how you do. All right, so you're going to practice obeying your masters in the flesh. Those down here who have flesh, who have the role, appropriate role of master, whom you have fear and trembling and sincere heart to serve, because you're doing it as to Messiah. Because why? Because these people, if you've picked them correctly, represent him. We are extensions of him. Okay? What do we refer to Yeshua as often? As the right hand, right? Right? Yeshua being his right hand? What's that mean? In other words, it's his extension to do his work on the earth. This is a promise from him. This is Paul explaining. This is how it works. By the way, that's what an anointed, appointed person does. They explain to you, this stuff that's in here, this is how it actually works. The stuff that you're doing and all these things that you know about, let me show you how it applies in your life and how it works. So we'll call these, that's what we call these the inspired commentaries. Basically, these are letters that Paul wrote. There's other writings that say James or Peter wrote and John wrote that were more just, letters to the dispersion, but they're the inspired guidance and admonitions. And by the way, there's a lot of strong admonitions and correcting and criticizing that's done in some of these letters. That's inspired for you to understand all this stuff. This is how it applies where the rubber meets the road in your life.